Greetings, programs, and welcome back, finally, to Link's Awakening. Once again, I am having to do post-commentary just because, my microphone hates me. It likes to screw up. So, anyway, we're finally back, and you're going to get a super episode. I'm going to stop complaining about the microphone for once. Hopefully here I'm going to be able to remember what's going on. Both me as a player had to deal with that, and me as a recorder has to deal with that now, because it has been several days. But, so, we're here, we finally are bringing Marin to the animal village. Sorry if I'm a little rusty at this. It is definitely easier for me to do live versus recording. And right now, honestly, this is also a part of what you see is what you get. I've never actually noticed the little expression on Link's face there. And yeah, as usual, when Marin sings, I shut up, as does the rest of the game. But yeah, right now it is just kind of going through the paces. You have to bring Marin here, wake that guy up. Now right here, I'm trying to remember the exact place you stand. There's a new piece of heart they added to the game in this location. And not piece of heart, secret shell. It's one of the trickier ones to get because you have to stand in just the right spot. And I think I realized in this one you do have to actually leave the screen and come back. And in this game that doesn't mean just make the screen scroll like it used to. Here it means you have to actually go like in a building or something, since the world is more or less always going. So things will pick up a little bit, obviously, once we finally get into the real, into a dungeon or something. A little bit of foreshadowing there for what we're gonna have to deal with in to get into a later dungeon, actually, which is nice. Here it should finally give me the shell. Ah, there he is. So yeah, this was a little trick that existed in the Game Boy original. It just, you didn't get anything for it. That's one thing they did for a lot of the new secret shells and extra heart pieces and stuff. Apparently I didn't shut my phone off. 1 second. Nothing is that important at 1 a.m. when I'm recording, people. So, here we are in the absolutely dinky little desert area in this game. It took up all of like 6 screens, I think, in the Game Boy original, something like that. Yes, those are Pokies from Mario, which I find hysterical. Running over here, there is a secret shell. I am still trying to get as many of these as I can, because I definitely want, the upgraded level 2 sword. Because yes, the level 2 sword does stack on top of the red armor. I can't remember the exact stack you get, but there is a stack. I'm too stupid to walk past the cactus. And here we have our little mini-boss in order to get the key for the next dungeon. This is the, I believe Lanmola is what they call it. It's pretty funny because in all other older games, it just looked like a worm, where here they went centipede with a submarine tail. This was actually a dungeon boss in not Link's Awakening, A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. Though there you had to fight 3 of them. And this is just another one of those little things where, you can tell that the original Game Boy version of this started out as just, a port of the, the Super Nintendo game. So, pardon me while I'm dealing with the fact that the game expects me to press A to actually pick up a key now. As well as that bomb you saw me drop, this is the wall I was thinking of. There's always like 2 bombable walls in every Zelda game that I struggle to remember where they are. Because in the Game Boy original, there was no indicator that that was a bombable wall. You just had to guess. And sometimes even still, I will get my wires crossed. As you can see by me continuing to just walk into enemies. I can't remember why I keep talking to the owl statues. It might just be the completionist in me wanting them all to have the glowing eyes. I honestly can't remember, actually. And once again, I stare in awe trying to figure out what I am doing right now. And we're getting stopped by the owl. So, hoot hoot, young warrior. Oh. And there, he just completely spoils the trick for getting into the next dungeon. Because, yeah, you can't actually just walk into this one. You have to jump from above it down into it. And like I said, this is an extra long episode trying to make up for the lack of episodes. So, we're going to go through that entire dungeon in this video. As well as, right now, I am cursing myself for having forgotten to activate an earlier warp point. So I'm going to go hit that on my way there. The Seashell Mansion ends up being the closest one that I have at the moment. And, in fact, let's go ahead and skip forward a bit. Oh, wait, we're doing something in the secret mansion. So, I don't remember if I've mentioned this, so I'm going to mention it again. A big improvement they made in this version of the game is that little bar that's filling up as I, have my shells and everything. In the original, you got fewer things from it, but you also only got those things if you had the exact amount of shells. So, you could get 2 bonus shells just to speed up, the process of collecting in the Game Boy original. Apparently I wanted a piece of power. But yeah, you could get 2 bonus ones to speed it up, because I want to say you only needed like 13 or 15 to get the sword in that one. And so, if you knew when to go back to there, you could just walk in, get some bonus ones at the right time. Here, as long as the bar goes past it, you will get everything, which it makes a big difference. Oh, and really quick, here, I do remember, this is the other piece of heart in the game that used to take me forever to find in the original. Because, once again, you have to deal with a wall that was not marked. And this one was especially bad because it was one of the only, side walls that you had to bomb in order to get to something. The fact there's rupees in here is also nice, but, yep, right up here in the corner. Run through, get yet another piece of heart. I find, unfortunately, my gameplay is a lot smoother when I don't have to talk, but it's also a royal pain for me to have to talk over it. But, really quick, just gonna skip forward here to when I get that warp point activated that I'm on my way to. Okay, and so, yes, up here in Tal Tal Heights, that's the warp point that I missed. I missed it so early on. And I felt like an absolute idiot when I realized I skipped it. So, really quick, we're going to head over The way you get into this dungeon has... This is one of those things of the game that really stuck with me, just because I thought it was fairly cool. So, first, we're just going to run down here, have our first appearance of Tektites in this game, modeled much closer to their Zelda 1, or Zelda 3 look. As I recall, in the Game Boy version, they at least looked like they had 2 eyes. Which, anyone who knows their Tektites knows that's wrong. And here we have the derpy looking entrance to the 4th dungeon. Really quick before I run in there, there's yet another warp point to activate, as well as there is a new... I want to say this is a shell. In the original game, there were all those weird-looking holes. Yep, it was a shell. There were all those weird-looking holes. There was actually a lot of those around here. This is the only one that's left, other than that one. And there's actually a reason for it now, other than just being a very strange bit of decoration. So, now that you've gone and unlocked the dungeon, we actually have to run over here, and we're actually going to have to climb the mountain and jump down where that waterfall used to be. Which, I don't think I do anything too stupid between here and there. We will see. I'm basically as blind as you guys are watching this right now, in terms of knowing what's about to happen. Funny enough, this room, just because of the new timing on the rocks, the ground crumbling and stuff, I end up having a way harder time trying to get through this room than I normally would. Which is dumb, because I don't know what is here that should cause me that much trouble. As you can see, I'm also like trying to stop and think here, figure out what I'm supposed to do as I get burned. And no, you cannot slash the gel through the wall. Barely managed to not fall through there. Yes, I believe that's a new piece of art, and it's definitely one of the better challenge ones, because they change those blocks to be a little more, you know, stringent on which ones you can push and which ones you can't. Really quick here, chest. If I do decide to go into some of the bonus stuff actually in this save file, I'm going to need rupees coming out of my pointy little ears, because there are so many things you have to buy to get 100% in this version of the game. Up there you can see the quadruplet's father. I think his name's Papal. It's been too long since I've looked. Funny enough, I do actually still have my original Nintendo Power guidebook to this game sitting actually over beside me. I probably should actually start like having that handy while I do these videos. But earlier in the game, if you remember, he did straight up tell us we would see him. So he told us he'd be lost in the mountains later. Here he is, lost in the mountains. You give him pineapple, he reacts the same way I do to being given pineapple. And we get a hibiscus in return. That is basically the sound that I make too. I want to say in the original, like the music for this area played double time while he was doing that. I can't remember exactly. I am toying with doing a Game Boy original playthrough of this as well. That would actually take me a lot less time than this one. Not even with some of the bugs I could exploit, but just there are a lot of things that are just inherently simpler about that version of the game. Also, just taking a second here, this level does have some of my absolute favorite dungeon music, especially in this version. It just has this nice, calm, atmospheric sound. For now, things are pretty straightforward, but they're a little bit later in the dungeon. There will be some actual kind of tricks and stuff to mention, especially mentioning things that you used to be able to do in the old version but can't now. And here's the part where I catch myself before I make the mistake I usually make in this game. That chest back there, somehow I always manage to play this game and just completely forget that I need to run over and get that one. And especially on the old version, it actually takes longer to get there just because of the slower screen scrolling and everything. So really quick, I'm also going to run up and make sure I didn't forget anything else. As well as right here, this spot actually had a trick in the original that they did remove for this version. But in the original Game Boy version of this game, you actually could make that Pegasus boot dash there, and you could do it diagonally, so that you'd be able to actually skip like a big chunk of the dungeon. So, they did a lot to remove that kind of stuff in this version. There used to be a lot of skippable areas if you knew when to do a diagonal jump. I've always hated those guys. I believe they're, if I remember right, they're called Peahats. For some reason, like every incarnation they have, even if you get to them before they start flying, you cannot damage them until after they have flown and then landed. And it is still the dumbest thing. It's like one of the few... It's one of the things that, I don't know why it's always irked me, but it has. Also, just take a moment to appreciate these very, very goofy looking Water Strider enemies. But yeah, the way that I just went around and used the key and stuff, you can actually completely skip that in the original version. As well as here is, like, the one area of the game that I would say there is a negative caused by the new combat and stuff. And that's this idiot trying to deal with him. You can just throw a bomb there like I did, like I eventually figured out. You used to be able to actually attack him like through the corner. But anyway, go in here, kill those guys, and you get to have a key, make a little splush. So this is one of the better puzzles, I think, just in terms of making you pay attention. Also, the very dramatic little drowning animation there that enemies have. They used to just go splush, but now you have to watch them sink and struggle. It's kind of dark. Also, yeah, it shocked me when I killed that guy, because I guess I'm remembering wrong, but I know for a fact in the original, you couldn't hit them until they had actually lifted off and then landed at least once. So I guess they fixed that in this one, but I'm still gonna play like they didn't, because that's just what I'm used to. And apparently one of my friends had started playing Animal Crossing while I was recording this. We will be going back to that room with those weird little tiles. Right now, due to my lack of the dungeon item, which I'm pretty sure it's obvious is gonna be the flippers, I can't actually get to all of those tiles in the order I need to. as well as I quote-unquote haven't learned the order. Me personally, yes, I know, because I've played this game a million times. And here we have the mini-boss, whose name I really can't remember. I'll throw it on the screen. It takes me a second to get in a roll on this guy, but this boss is one of the easier ones to just get stuck in a loop. Even easier on the original. But here, eventually, you just get him stuck. You just follow him back and forth. On the original, he was actually very easy to just jump over using the Roc's Feather. And so you could take him out that way. The most pointless room ever, showing you how those sliding blocks work, because you can just run through and be done. Finally got the flippers, which is probably the biggest game-changing item in, well, the game. And this is also the room where you learn the pattern for those weird tiles. This one, it's just it just opens the door, nothing fancy. But if you remember, just around the corner, we needed it for something actually important. Now, there is a way, if you're really, really careful, you can actually jump on the edge of that one tile to not activate it. Because if you activate them out of order, as I'm sure you'd guess, you know, it resets and you have to start over. Also, just, yeah, really quick, hop on top of the Cyclops guy there. But yeah, it is possible to get the Nightmare Key before you have the the flippers, but for me, it's just not quite worth it. I'm sure to a proper speedrunner or something, though, that's like, you know, the only way to play the game. So, really quick here, just gonna go back and grab that key that we watched fall down the hole. One nice thing about this version, you just watch it fall down the hole once. I'm sure to some people that'll be, you know, they might forget it if they stop playing for a while. But for me, as someone who played this game a lot, I used to actually have to watch that key fall down that hole every time that I walked back into that room on the original. So, I do appreciate the change there. And we are already on our way to fight the final boss, even though I don't know why I'm taking the pathway I'm taking. Oh, yeah, I'm going back for a chest. Duh. That explains a lot. Doesn't really come into play much. There you can see, not able to do anything to him because he's spinning. But you can hit, I want to say it's the B button to dive in this version, and the A button to swim faster, you know, just do like an extra stroke. We will be using that a little bit once we get out of the dungeon, because there's a whole bunch of stuff I run and grab really quickly between going through this dungeon and Dungeon 5. Here we get yet another Mario enemy, the Cheep Cheep. And yep, the sword is one of the... I want to say the sword and the hook shot are the only items you can use underwater. This room's another one where you used to be able to do a diagonal dash jump from that bottom right corner and skip that little swimming section. Again, can't do it here. I remember I was swinging at that rock just to remind myself to actually mention that. And here we come to actually the easiest boss in the entire game. And apparently I was psyching myself up, also just showing off the little changes in the animation when you're on the side-scrolling 2D plane here. Such riveting dialogue, I know. But yes, here we have the anglerfish. And they tried so hard to make him a bigger threat in this version compared to the original. The rocks are a bigger threat than he is. Same with the weird little baby things. He also takes a lot more damage than he used to. Here it is kind of specific that you have to hit his, little headlight area. In the original, you could basically hit him anywhere, and you could just run up and spam the sword and have him taken out in, like, I want to say, like, 12 seconds. Even faster if you're playing the director's cut, so you could have the red mail. And if you chose to leave the dungeon, you could actually get the level 2 sword by this point as well. But here we are, we finally got the Surf's Harp. Then, yeah, when we come out of the dungeon, it's just going to be a very quick little session of grabbing things. And a tiny little quote-unquote quest to get into the next level. Because there's not a key for this level. You just needed the flippers. So once you grab the flippers, that also starts the part of the game where, should you choose, you can just start skipping dungeons because you don't have story gates in the way anymore. But first thing we're going to do is finally swim over to this room, and I'm just going to shut up and let this speak for itself. This is a great section of the game. So yes, we got the second Ocarina song. And this is one of the biggest upgrades they made in the game. So, in the original, you could play the song, and it would warp you to one very specific area of the map. In this version, when you play it, you can go to any warp point in the game, as well as it unlocking a new warp point as well. So, big overhaul, big bonus. Really quick here, I'm actually just swimming over. There is a very nearby piece of heart that... This is one that in the original, I don't know how you're supposed to know about it. In this version, you can just swim in here and you see it. The original, this was a room that had a special dark water tile, so it looked very ominous. And you just had to guess, which was dumb. So, here's the part where I have to figure out what I am doing. Apparently I'm checking if I got anything else. This is why, yeah, we will be going back to live commentary. And here we have the ghost. This is the one thing that blocks you. Okay, I remember what I'm doing now. There's a big pain in the butt piece of heart that I'm going after. But, that ghost is actually the thing that keeps you from just going straight into level 5 right now. Eventually here, he's gonna start talking to us, but you can keep him quiet by staying in the water. At least I think he stays quiet if you stay in the water, we'll see. But, yeah, this is the piece of heart that they make you swim for like mad. Oh, as well as a secret shell. I forget they added a shell in this area too. As well as, thankfully, here, when he does talk, it's just, he makes a wee sound, and it pops up on screen. In the original, it would stop you. You had to skip through the text every single time. Here's the biggest pain in the butt piece of art to get, because you have to just very slowly swim around to get to it. That is an area that we can't go until a lot later. Though, as I recall, that was actually a missable area in the original. I will have to go check and confirm that actually on the original game. But, anyway. I think I'm just going to go ahead and skip until we get close to where this guy is asking to go. So, see you guys in a second. Alright, and on the way there, we are also going to stop at the store, because there is something kind of important here. We finally have enough money to get the bow and arrow. I know a lot of people, when they play the game, they will just straight up steal that. Oh, and we're only 6 rupees away from another piece of heart. So, yep, lawn mowing time, really quick. I think this took me all of like 12 seconds, so I'm not even going to bother skipping. Yep, there we go. So many things they added to the store, it's kind of insane. But yeah, most people, they'd steal the bow and they just never go to the store again, because if you steal something from the store, it turns out the shopkeeper is actually Goku. He will hit you with a Kamehameha, and it is instant game over. So, just checking again there to see if anything new had spawned. And I will just let it play, actually, for going to the next item. Eventually, I will remember to talk to Dampé to get him out of our way. But we're almost to the area that the ghost is trying to get to. As well as, I think I grab a piece of heart or two on the way here. Or a secret shell. Yep, that shell was the most annoying one for me to find in the game, I'm not gonna lie. Later in the game, you do get a way to find the shells easier. Also, apparently I thought there was a shell over there for some reason. I don't even remember if I do find one from digging. We'll find out here. Apparently not. Yeah, a little bit later, there is like a shell finder you get. And that thing is stupidly helpful. Take my revenge on the monkey just because I can. There's no way to actually attack the monkey. All you can do is knock him out of his tree. I love how he always manages to say, "My house, take me," like as you walk up to his house. He always does that, even in the original. So, really quick, I'll let this scene play out without me talking over it. So, I'm not gonna lie, they made that scene actually a decent bit sadder than it was in the original. The original, he just quickly flew around. He's like, oh, nothing changed. Okay, take me back to the graveyard, whatever. This one, you can see him, like, actually get, like, sad and upset from what he's seeing and, you know, everything. So, I gotta give him points. They made a kind of, you know, sad little scene there with fairly minimal dialogue and, you know, this is just a ghost that appeared behind us randomly. So, really quick, one last thing to do before we take him to the grave. Though he apparently was following us down to the underworld there. I forgot that he did that. And no, we weren't here just for the piece of heart. I actually forgot about this piece of heart. Also, I always have hated those piranha enemies. They're the biggest pains in the butt in the game. And I did not see the electric jellyfish guy there. But, really quick, go ahead, grab our magic powder. And we have another Mad Bomber. So here we'll take the magic powder upgrade. I guess they call him a little devil now. I forgot that. In the original he was Mad Bomber or something like that, but yeah, I can kind of see why they changed that one. Normally I don't care for random changes in my old games when they're remade, but that one I can understand. That said, though, I would still prefer if the Norks in the Spyro Remake Trilogy still had their ridiculous Tommy guns. Those were funny. Let's see. Oh, right. Okay, so my bad. I forgot. I had not actually met the first Mad Bomber you come across. So, hello, welcome to my fast explanation. You show up here, you wake this guy up, he gets his revenge by making you carry more of something. Either bombs, magic powder, or arrows. So, yeah, his revenge is look at all the junk you have to carry. So, there's 3 places to find him. Unfortunately, we will not find the last meeting place with him until just before the end of the game. But we're almost done here. Just gonna go ahead. Grab another secret shell on the way. And take the ghost over to his grave. So I can't even complain about him clipping. He's a ghost. He does that. Oh, and he's happy. And he gives us one of our bottles for taking him home. And here comes the owl to spoil the game and tell us directly where to go. Yes, it has been some time since our paths crossed, like a whole 10 minutes. But, conveniently, with the warp point down there by his house, which is another new warp point, we can go get whatever it was that he left in the jar. Spoiler, there's a secret shell that appears in his house after this little quest. And then we are also right by level 5. So, really quick, run in here. Get our thing, and get the heck out. And apparently I'm running back to the Shell Mansion before I go in there, just to see if I can get any other freebies. Shell Mansion is actually still very close, so not a big deal. And apparently, no, I am not faster than a throwing spear. Second box, and we get... the shell sensor. So, yes, like I said, there is a item that lets you know when shells are hidden in the area. This thing is a lifesaver. Sadly, it doesn't give you any indication on what you need to do, but just knowing there is one in the area is incredibly helpful, especially with how many they added in this version of the game. And apparently there's something else. Oh, right. Another piece of heart, I believe, hidden down here. Another dive spot. What is that? Like the third or fourth heart we've acquired during this video? Good lord. I do not remember getting that many extra hearts in this part. Then again, this is also a much longer than normal part. There's the mermaid. Gonna need to remember her for later. Funny little bit of censorship actually with her that we will get to later. But over here, dive down in the water. Just swim through this little section. And you will find yourself at the entrance of Dungeon 5, Catfish's Maw. And that is where I will leave this off. So, hopefully this long episode of me rambling was worth it. I'll see you guys next time.